I want to tell you about my daughter, Michelle. She's my baby. Michelle was born January 17th, 1964. That's her brother Craig on the left. We lived in an apartment on the south side of Chicago where her father worked at the city water plant, and I got to stay home with my children. Michelle was especially close to her daddy.
My father was in his 50s, and my sister would still sit on his lap and put her head on his shoulder, as she used to do when she was a kid. And that sort of, in one picture, epitomizes their relationship.
Her dad was just a sweet man and a kind-hearted man, and somebody who thought everybody should be treated with dignity and respect, and I think that carried over to Michelle.
We raised Craig and Michelle to go to college, but we teased them about how some people went away to college and never came back to their community.
My mom and dad would always say that if just a few people would come back and live in the community, it would make all the difference in the world, and we talked about that a lot.
She was very committed to the south side of Chicago. She was very committed to using every bit of her skills and her talent to lift others up.
After law school, Michelle came back, and at first she worked for a big law firm. That was where she met Barack.
The firm was a buzz about this hotshot first-year law student from Harvard. His name was Barack Obama, and I thought, well, who names their kid Barack Obama? So I figured this guy has to be weird.
She was assigned as my summer advisor. I was late that day. I don't think I made such a great impression, but she was dazzling.
When he first showed up, he was a little late, so I thought, well, maybe he didn't have his act together. But then when he walked in, he was very handsome, and he had this air of interesting in him that I didn't expect.
I didn't see a ring on her hand. So turned out she didn't have a boyfriend, but she was very resistant to the idea of some inter-office dating. I asked her a couple times, and she was sort of pushing me off a little bit.
And then he made his big move.
Finally, there was a company picnic, and on the drive back, I offered to buy her ice cream. That is what put her over the top. That's where she said, you know, this guy knows how to treat a woman.
But the law firm wasn't right for her. All those years ago, we taught her to serve her community, and that's what she ended up doing.
Michelle came to work with us in the mayor's office, and after a couple of years, she went to work in Public Allies, which is an organization that mentored young people and gave them an opportunity to learn public service work. And she did this because this was important to her. It didn't matter that it didn't pay any money. This was important to her, this was her mission, and this was something she wanted to do.
I think Michelle has a gift for seeing the potential in people that they don't even know is there. You know, the Public Allies class had people that if you saw them walking down the street, you wouldn't assume that these people would be community leaders. But so many of them went on to careers and lives in public service that she must have some kind of uncommon gift in seeing that in people.
I'm really excited for people to see the Michelle that I knew, the Michelle who I miss in my day-to-day life, the Michelle who, through a casual joke or a comment or a hug in the corridor, who could make you feel like you could do anything.
Michelle was like a mom to so many people over the years. It's no surprise to me that she's been a wonderful, caring mother to her own children.
She's an amazing mom. I mean, for her, that's what life is all about, her children. The girls are extremely grounded, very loving, very smart, know right from wrong, and it's all about her kids.
Michelle was able to find the balance between career and being a mom. After Public Allies, she went on to create the Community Service Center at the University of Chicago and led community outreach for the university's hospitals. Michelle has always reached out to others. It was something I loved about my husband, too.
Michelle's compassion came from my father. And people came to him with their problems, and he always managed to have people go away feeling better than they did when they came to talk to him. I'm certain that that's where Michelle gets her compassion from.
My father died very early from complications from multiple sclerosis, and I think about him every day when I think about how I raised my kids, because I remember his compassion. I remember the words, his advice, the way he lived life, and I am trying each and every day to apply that to how I raise my kids. I want his legacy to live through them, and hopefully it will affect the kind of First Lady that I will become, because it's his compassion and his view of the world that really inspires who I am, who I want my girls to be, and what I hope for the country.
This is my daughter. When she was young, I remember how she would look up to us. Now, I look up to her. I hope America gets to know the girl we raised and the woman she became, because she is the most remarkable person I know. I wish my husband could see this day, but every day I get to see a piece of him in her. And for that, I am so proud and so blessed.